the drip, drip, drip of excess water from a leaky hot water heater. What you need is Mr. Rag. Mr. Rag comes complete with the tie and instructions. But wait, if you order two, shipping and handling is... This hot water heater went 2 feet underwater in Katrina, and it's going to have to be raised to meet code. And there's the dripping wick. And to raise it up, I've got to do some plumbing changes, because this is a older tech one, and the newer ones have got to be a little bit taller. When this went underwater here in Katrina, I had to go through and take the valve and take the orifice out and clean it to get it to run. The little small orifice, I had to clean this out to get the pilot to run, and it's run ever since. And the gas line here and everything is in good condition, but it's going to have to be replaced because that's just on borrowed time. These are some hot and colds we put in back when the house was built about 45 years ago. And this connection here is a hot water that goes to one section of the house. This is a valve that goes up to another section on the other side of the house. There used to be 2 hot water heaters in series. This is the shut-off valve for the cold. So I can turn this off if I got a catastrophe, so I'm not in too much danger. This type of thing here, if this gets really hot, could be a fire hazard because you got something combustible here. Right now this whole thing is basically totally saturated because of the leak. And this is a 40-gallon Rude 34,000 BTU input, and it's draining right now into a bucket. Before I found the leak, I had this fan set up here, box fan, and I used that to go through and dry out the area. And once I did all that, I found it was leaking up here at the top. And then I used somebody else's idea, was a wick, to drop it through. And once I did all that, this whole thing is completely clean, as far as there's no water here in the ground. So all my leak is at the very top. And since this is very old, I don't want to mess with this fitting, because this is so old, if I just mess with it, I'm going to create a catastrophe. Now I've got, a week later, a big stream of water, massive leak through the top here at the fitting and one of the other fittings. What I did here is I ended up turning off the water here, and I had to really wrestle to get this old valve tightened. I turned it off, and once I turned it back on and off about 3 or 4 times, the pressure cycling on the tank ended up opening up the leak big time. So this wick only lasted for about a week, and then we've got to have to replace this hot water heater. It got water all over the place. Got a fan running here. Got a GFI breaker so I don't get knocked on my butt. And I'm going to be turning this off here. And I got to do some more plumbing to lift this hot water heater off the ground. Anyways, this wick here is doing most of its job here. But it went from 1 drop every second to just a continuous stream here. And that's all after I went ahead and turned the water off and that back on again. So what it did is it loosened up the crud in the rusted area in the tank, and then it's gone ahead and really let free. So I'm going to end up turning this hot water heater off till I get a permanent fix. Kind of got a mess here. Got to raise this hot water heater up, because this was put in 22 years ago, and it flooded up to about here in Katrina, about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. This went underwater, and so got an extra 7.5 years use of it. Been on borrowed time. There's the leak. You can see the leak right there. It's around the tank, not the fitting. I'm going to turn it back off. Gee, I wonder how far Katrina went up. Ooh, there's the scum line right there. That's how high the hot water heater, right there. Interesting, went under salt water right there. Here's the temporary electric hot water heater that was put on. Can be used until we get the gas one installed. Kind of unorthodox, it's 20 gallons. And I was going to tie it, these are the old fittings, I'm going to have to undo all this, but was going to tie it to these two hold hot and colds, but they've been used in about 25 years, so they'll probably leak. So what I end up doing is using this until I get all the materials ready, and then I'm going to go through and replumb all this so we can put a proper hot water heater in, a gas one. Got to raise it a couple feet.